Donald Trump delivered a series of these true social meltdown videos. He puts out, I call them true social diatribes, and they're statements, I guess, video statements where he addresses different subjects. And this one, as you can guess, a series of them was about his recent arrest and arraignment. He's very unhappy, and I want to walk through a few of these, starting with this one.
America went to sleep last night with tears in its eyes. Someday soon, however, it will be able to wipe away those tears and smile bigger than ever before. For we will have defeated the radical left Marxists, fascists, communists, and lunatics and deranged maniacs, and cleared the path to put America first, and then quickly we will make America great again. It's going to happen. They are fighting us with every bit of their crooked blood. But we're going to win, and we're going to win bigger than ever before. We will make America great again.
Wiping the tears away, Josiah. America, it was a dark... And that taps into, before you jump in, the subject we talked about in the past about Trump's indictment, where so many people will be saying that this is a dark day in American history, the indictment of Trump. And it's dark in that Trump did the things he did. It's not dark that he's being held accountable for it.
No, the ethic is the idea that nobody is above the law. And as we've discussed in separate videos, as we've discussed offline, as we've discussed in previous collaborations, there are certain accommodations that the law makes to the sitting president, because it's not feasible to have a chief executive who's being hauled into court for every potential civil lawsuit or whatever. So there's a certain degree of immunity the sitting presidents enjoy. Donald Trump is not the sitting president. He was not the sitting president when he committed the crimes that he was alleged to make in the unsealed Jack Smith indictment. So this idea that he should be above the law is ridiculous. It is a dark day that a former chief executive, who may yet be the future chief executive, shudder the thought, is guilty of the crimes that he's been alleged to make. That's the terrifying part. The fact that he is being held accountable, that's not the darkness. That is the daylight breaking over the horizon. That's right. That's dawn, baby. That's dawn is what that is.
And if anything, it gives us some hope that the system can work correctly. So many times we've seen the opposite, where if you are powerful, wealthy, well-connected, influential, you aren't held to the same standard under the law as someone else who did the exact same things but doesn't fall under those characteristics. And so here, that's not playing out. We are seeing accountability, or it looks like we may see accountability for the actions that Trump took, and that's a really good thing. Next video here from his True Social account.
Now that the seal is broken, in addition to closing the border and removing all of the criminal elements that have illegally invaded our country, that's right, it's been an invasion, making America energy independent and even energy dominant again, and immediately ending the war between Russia and Ukraine. We'll do all of that. I will appoint a real special prosecutor to go after the most corrupt president in the history of the United States of America, Joe Biden, the entire Biden crime family, and all others involved with the destruction of our elections, borders, and our country itself. These are corrupt people. These people are destroying America, and they're going to pay a price for it. Thank you.
That ending kind of reminded me of the end of his speech, where he's like, everyone's being murdered. Thank you very much. A lot of these, yep. He has to end these little clips. It's his style to say either make America great again or thank you very much. But sometimes he'll be on this really dark note. Everything's falling apart. Thank you very much. Have a good night. Have a good night. Have a good night. But I mean, this is the absurd talking point we've heard from so many, including Trump and his supporters, that what Trump should do, they're accusing the federal government right now under Joe Biden of being weaponized against conservatives, but rooting on, and there's not evidence to that effect, but rooting on an actual weaponization of the federal government against liberals, Democrats, the political opponents of Donald Trump, saying that if Trump were to become president again, he should try to lock up Joe Biden, while saying Joe Biden is wrongly trying to lock up Trump when there's not evidence for that. Wild.
Yeah, the whole thing. Actually, he said several just really bizarre talking points there. So the first thing I got to draw attention to, the unfortunate phrasing of the seal is broken, then getting into, falsehoods about illegal crossings at the border. We have actually seen a tremendous reduction of that on President Biden's watch since the revocation of Title 42, which has surprised, I think, many people, certainly the Republican Party. They are desperate. They are scrambling for talking points with respect to the southern border since we've seen a stark reduction in contacts. He also talks about energy independence. We are energy independent under President Biden by the Republicans' own standards. During the Trump administration, I mean, when, supply and demand kicked in and people weren't driving, we certainly saw some great highs under President Trump. But since COVID has stabilized, we've seen them being regained under President Biden. And then obviously, you talk about the special counsel situation. So yes, there is a stark hypocrisy there where Republicans are saying, listen, the attorney general who appointed a special counsel to look into Trump, and also, by the way, into President Biden, there is Robert Hur, a Republican special prosecutor, is still investigating President Biden. That investigation has not been shut down. We don't know where it'll go. The idea that that's a politicization and
for
a weaponization.
Documents, to be clear, not for the accusations that they've made.
No, correct. Yeah. So he is being investigated by Robert Hur for the very same reason, broadly speaking, that Donald Trump was, which is the retention of classified documents. And again, that investigation is still ongoing. We don't know where it may go. But that's proof of a relative, and I would argue, unnecessary, generosity on Merrick Garland's part to try to avoid the appearance of impropriety. He's trying to go out of his way to say, hey, listen, the Department of Justice is not weaponized. I'm investigating, or I'm having my own boss investigated. You all would never do that. The Republicans would never have appointed, a special counsel to investigate Trump in this respect, and certainly not to go to the lengths that Garland has to be even-handed. So, yeah, it's a completely insubstantial talking point, and now you have Donald Trump actively campaigning that he will weaponize the Justice Department even further. And I don't think we're seeing pushback from Republicans on that talking point. I don't think we've seen Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, or even Mike Pence or Chris Christie, people who are running against him, come out and say, you know what, Mr. President, that's really inappropriate for you to threaten to do, while you're running for re-election, because they don't care.
Absolutely. And it's the exact same hypocrisy and just dishonest set of actions that have been getting taken by the weaponization subcommittee or whatever it is under the House Oversight Committee, where in investigating the weaponization of the federal government, they're weaponizing their role in the federal government, attempting to get involved, as we saw with the Manhattan DA investigation and indictment, trying to run interference for Trump there. Then harassing a private company into not taking certain actions, being Twitter on their platform is a private platform, and they're saying you can't take certain actions because we don't agree with your policy decisions there. And so many other examples where this committee that's supposed to be getting rid of, or at least uncovering weaponization of the federal government, is weaponizing their power in the federal government to help the conservative movement and to help kind of these conservative talking points thrive. It's pretty bonkers. Thank you so much for watching. For the outro on this video, I want to plug Josiah's channel. Hit them with it, Josiah.
Hey, everybody. I appreciate you watching. You can find me at youtube.com/@ponderingpolitics. One word, Pondering Politics. If you like progressive commentary that focuses on coalition building with other elements of the left and calling the Republican Party out for what it's become, I hope you'll view my channel. Give me a like and subscribe and some feedback. Again, youtube.com/@Pondering Politics. Thanks again.